Hey guys, Revan here. Welcome back to MC Eternal, episode 8, where today we are going to work on cleaning up our mechanism a little bit better and getting into an overpowered potato farm. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. Welcome back. So I'm pretty sure I have everything that I'm going to need for this. I made a pressurized reaction chamber. We already made the separator. I made a biogenerator in it and another advanced crushing factory like the one I have over there. And that should be everything that we need. Oh, before I forget, we are going to need a trash can. And do we have any drawers? All right, let's just grab 2 drawers just in case, a couple of the upgrades, and some item conduits. There we go. So if we come into our cube here, inside of our cube, we're going to start off by just placing down our growth crystals, some dirt, some good old dirt on top of that, and we'll just push you there for resources. So let's just take some basic cobblestone here. And for now, that's all the dirt that we're going to need. We will grab our sink and our bucket. There we go. So now that we have our farmland set, I did not 10 these. I'll work on that a little bit later. It's just getting very late at the night and I didn't have time just to sit and wait for these guys to farm up. Now that we have our farmland, let's just build some little stepping stones here. We're going to put the plant interactor. Now this is only gonna harvest. It's not going to break the plant and replant the seeds or anything like that. It's just gonna harvest. Like I mentioned, this is not going to break the plant. It's just going to essentially right click on it to harvest it, to the point where it's not even going to pick the plants up. So what we have is a drawer, and we can just take our wrench here. There we go. And we're going to take our trash can and place you guys right there. We're then going to put on our item collectors, and we have a couple filters here. So this first filter, we just want to whitelist potatoes. So it is going to go into that collector, and then this collector over here, we're going to be picking up the poisonous potatoes. So when this harvests, 1 or 2 items is going to drop. Obviously the vast majority of the time it's just going to be a potato, but you do have a chance of getting poisonous potatoes, and if you don't clear those out, you're going to run into trouble pretty soon. So let's take potato and toss it in here. And just for now, in case we need it for a later point in time, we'll toss our other potato up in there. And we shouldn't need all of these upgrades, but it may back up eventually. So toss a void and a couple storage upgrades. Then we're going to need our flux point that we can just hook up onto our network, and that should, right now we have 5 potatoes. So this will start picking all this stuff up. Oh, and we're going to need to toss on a number 1 range upgrade just so we have this 3x3 working area here. And how far are you guys? 5 and 5. That should be good. That should cover a little bit extra. If you want, we can just toss this to 6 and 6 just to give it a little bit more room to collect in case it needs it. From there, we're going to want to take an item conduit and we're going to toss that into but into our crushing factory. So we can toss you. We'll just put that there for now. So now that we have the crushing factory done, obviously we have to tell these conduits what to do. So we're going to extract and insert, go into the crushing factory, and we're going to input from this side, and we will output from the top. And then everything else we can just turn off. So once this outputs, it's going to output into this drawer, which again, we are going to use our void upgrade and our storage upgrades. The big thing with these is you just don't want to get backed up. Once you start getting backed up, like if you forget to dump excess on one of the gas tanks or something like that, it is just gonna freeze up on you. Okay, so the next step is going to be taking our biomatter and tossing that into the pressurized reaction chamber. Now this is going to need 2 things. It's going to need the biomatter, but it's also going to need water, and I believe it's hydrogen is what it's used for. Hydrogen, yes. So let me just set this up real quick. I believe this is one of the weird ones where it has to be facing a certain direction. So let's see what happens if we turn it and then go to our configs and say input on the side. It still does not want to input there. What about if we input on the bottom? And obviously turn you on, input. All right, so it works on the, we actually have to input it from the bottom. Not a big deal. Extract, always active. Now that should put our biofuel in. So the next step that we need to worry about is we need to grab our sink over here. Now later on in the pack, you can move into things like the nuclear craft, water collectors. Crafting of them is not so fun because you need lots and lots of buckets of water. So it's just a pain to get all that stuff, but they'll produce a good amount of water. I don't know how much the sink actually produces per cycle. Okay, so from them, in order to get the hydrogen, we need to run the electrolytic separator. So we're going to need to put water in that, and then we'll be getting hydrogen and oxygen. So for the hydrogen, we're eventually going to want that to come into the side from... Did we not grab any gas tanks? All right, let me grab some gas tanks. I'll be right back. All right, take 252 of me constantly forgetting one thing or the other. So we are going to be running gas into the separator from right here. Now, same thing for this side. We are going to be outputting, and this side we're going to be inputting. So any gas that we get in this tank should transfer over into this. Now, the other thing that we want to do is dump excess. So when this gas tank fills up, it dumps out. The reason we're going to want to do that is because if the separator backs up with gas, it's just going to stop, and that could stop your whole thing. So you can kind of play around with it. See, Sometimes I like this, letting this one back up and then just letting the oxygen one run through, because if it's not using hydrogen, then obviously it's not going through the biofuel and it's not going to be producing energy anyways. So it's one of those, I don't want to say pick your poisons, but sort of is. All right, electrolytic separator. Where do we want to put you? Always have to play around with these things a bit. At least in my case, I do. And how about we just put you there? Then if we take our cables, we can set this up to inputs, outputs. Okay. And that we can turn the rest of these off for now. All right. So the separator, as I said before, needs a constant source of water. So we will give that via the sink. We can just kind of stack that right there for now. And then, ooh, we're gonna need some more fluid conduits. I thought I grabbed more than one. Do I have any in here? I do not. So Ender IO. If I extract, always active, and insert from the top, will you? Yes. Okay, so we can just do that to fill that up. Now, you are also going to need water, so, but you're not going to take it from the top unless we'll turn auto eject on. So inputs. Now, where do you want? All right, so it will take water from the back. So if that is the case, we'll bring it from the back as well. Always active, insert. So you have water and you now have the biofuel. So the only thing it's missing is the hydrogen. And what do we have here? We have hydrogen. So we're going to say, oh, idle. And we are going to take our other pressurized tubing from right here. And we're going to be pumping oxygen into you. Yep. And this we want to dump excess on. So again, just make sure the sides, we have inputs, and this one doesn't matter. Now, another thing that can help with Mekanism is the configurator. I just didn't make it before I came in here. All right, so outputs, inputs, you should be none. You are going to be input, but you're not getting any hydrogen. So let me mess around with this and figure out what is exactly causing this lack of hydrogen, and I will be right back. So I did a little bit of messing around, and for whatever reason, the hydrogen only wants to go in from this side here. So it looks a little bit funny, but we are making ethanol. Now the question is if we're going to be able to pull the ethanol out from the front. So if we come over to output. Okay, so it is not going to let us take us out for the front. So we might have to reconsider the setup that we have going here. I'm going to try to rearrange things to see if I can't make them work a little bit better, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so we messed around with the setup a little bit, and I essentially moved the separator to the rear here. So I have my oxygen tank dumping excess. Doesn't seem to want to remember that because I've changed it a few times already. We have our hydrogen tank right here, which is filling up our PRC. Let's see, change you to inputs. Okay, we have our hydrogen tank right here, which is going to be filling up our PRC. Let me just make sure that we have output there and auto eject on. All right, perfect. And then we have our ethanol tank over here. So we're not making ethanol very fast right now, but once we add the upgrades into these things, and actually get these seeds up to 10, 10, 10, it will go a much faster. I just wanted to show you kind of how I normally have this set up, because this is a very good, I don't want to say early game, but it's a very good farm, very good power production, especially if you get more than one biogenerator in here. So from that, we are going to place our biogenerator correctly. We can just put that there for now and turn you. So this will run on here. Ooh, doesn't like being in that direction. Shift M, generator that burns organic materials of the world to produce energy. Now, is the biogenerator actually the generator that I want? That is the question. Well, surprise, surprise, I was wrong. So it is not the biogenerator that I was thinking of. It is the gas burning generator. So if I come up and attach this here, grab my configurator and say input and output and ethylene, auto reject on, output, and we can actually turn all of the rest of the sides off here. Okay, so we are now getting ethylene, and we are making 7.8 RF per tick off of this. So now with that, we can just run this on over to our wall. And where did we put our port? And grab our tunnel, attach to the wall. If you look at it, it just says in the upper left corner, it says down. If you just right click on it, it changes direction, and that's direction that's going to be on the outside of it, outside of the compact cube. So we want north because that's the direction that we came in, which means once we connect this, south, east, west, and it popped off. So put you on first, and then we will switch you over to north. So now if we come outside and come to the back of our cube, grab our plug, we can just turn this onto our main network. We shouldn't need to chunk load it, but we will just in case. And now we have an extra 2,000 some RF a tick coming out of our little farm here. So, why you do this to me? So very helpful. These compact cubes are extremely handy, especially, you know, if you are trying to keep everything relatively neat and tidy. Let me grab a little bit of stone, and a little bit, I literally mean just one. Yeah, fine. There we go. So now we have, we're producing about an extra 7 to almost 8,000 RF per tick just on that little farm, which is doing actually more than our nuclear reactor is doing. But again, the nuclear reactor, we can scale up relatively easily. This one, other than, you know, putting speed and energy modifiers on all the machines in there, but then you're going to be using more energy to produce a little bit more energy, and it may not scale as well. But I think I'm going to call it an episode there, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you want to come out and see me working, doing the grind, I am live on Twitch most Fridays and Saturdays. My schedule's a little bit different nowadays, well, because of all of the fun stuff that's going out in this world. So if you want to, come on over and keep me company. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And as always, please like, subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you guys next time.